Hello, everyone. This is the first week of the 2022 Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament. We have Andrew mentored by SEJay and Akuheish being mentored by Iron Gamer 4565. Professor, I'll be joined with Ehseezed and hopefully soon. So this is the first week of the Go Mode Podcast Mentor 2022. We already had some pretty good matches going on behind the scenes, and we had some restream as well. Those who are not in the loop, what the Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament is all about, newer players who don't have an experience with any tournaments or just getting into the game or whatever, are assigned get paired up with mentors. That would be people that are well established within the community, and they help each other out. The mentors help the mentees with various things and stuff, and basically give you some insights on stuff and to help out with this tournament, or help out making them getting into the past on the right foot. So the first week is the casual standard with a short sword that is just casual, no casual extra boots or anything, and we are underway. Start things off with a heart container. And so our sprites that we have is the BSX Satellaview girl character that was from the Legend of Zelda Ancient Stone Tablets official ROM hack. And Akuheish is running Peter Pepper from the classic arcade game Burger Time. Yes, I may not be like old to know. I may not be old to just never being in the arcades when Burger Time was around, but I know the character. Hopefully, we'll get Akuheish started in just started. Still hanging out on the file select screen for now. So we are going to see the escape starting up from Andrew. So yeah, this is just your typical escape route. If Andrew was practicing earlier, he might have gotten the information about how you would approach a NMG run through escape. Yeah, we're actually seeing that right away. Although, looked like Andrew had poked the guard. What I tend to do is I will face up, and then I move into the position and to where Andrew was going to be at, and I will I'll release my spin from there, and if with any luck I will be I'll get the guard killed right outside the door, and then I pick up the key and I'll activate I'll unlock the door from there. So but we do see the second key guard porked out just fine as well. Hopefully we'll get Akuheish back online soon, as Akuheish's feed went down, and looks like we're back. Akuheish is back online. And we do get that small key in standard in these standard presets. They're in the standard presets, like for the standard world state, the small key can only be in a handful of positions. So that's something to keep in mind. And also one thing too, as we'll see coming up in just a bit, is that we will have a automatic lamp light cone. And that will be carried through the next time you go into escape. Because since with everything being randomized, if we're going through an escape sequence, we would need some way to get through the front of escape without having to resort to a lamp. So the game gives you the lamp cone for free. And another thing too is that Andrew is also running an MSU pack that would be the Breath of the Wild MSU pack, a very soothing and very calming MSU pack. So right now, Andrew is making his way over to the Dark Cross. We do get a bug net from that. And we also, earlier on, we did get bombs. So we do, we can get to the back of escape on our way over. Now, I don't know if we have seen the map yet. Because if not, that is something to keep in mind. The mentor will have to be aware. Will probably let their mentees know that the map may have not been found, and then if it's not here, then we don't need to grab the sanctuary chest too, because it would cost us a bit of time. We did get a hookshot and a shield for the back of escape. So Andrew will make it out of the escape at around 6:16. Okay, so the map was picked up earlier in the front of escape. So, good thing. I think if SEJay may have told him this if that were to happen, but since the map was already found, this is all fair game to take a look at the scrap that chest in the sanctuary, which is 300 rupees. Not a bad start. We'll take a look at our tier 2 tree pool. It's just a single rupee. Now, I'm not sure if I have the right numbers for my enemies. It is, but for tier 1, the way tree pools work is based on the number of enemies you kill. So for tier 1, it's 1 or 2 enemies. I think 1 or 2 enemies. We get a bow on top of lumberjack ledge, so that's something to keep in mind in case we need to. If a bow is in GT, then we will have to get that bow. But to keep going, I think for tier 1, it's I believe 1 or 2 enemies, and then depending on tier 2, it's I think 3 to 5 enemies. If you got hit, tier 3 is 3 to 5 enemies, and you did not get hit. And okay, thank you to Trinex for bringing us to my information. Tier 1 is just 1 enemy no matter what, and 4 enemy for tier 2 to 3 is 4 enemies, 4 or more enemies, and with damage taken and no damage taken respectively. Thank you, Trinex, for that information. We did get a massive sword from the what was it? It was from the Lost Woods. And we're now into Kakariko. And I do hear my co-commentator has joined us. Hello, SEJay.
Hello. How are we doing tonight?
We're doing good. So far, we have a hookshot, shields from backup escape. We did get a master sword from out of the Lost Woods, and we just now got flippers out of Blindside.
Indeed we have. Seems like an interesting start to the race.
Yeah, very good, interesting starts. Now, with those flippers, however, should Andrew want to Houlihan, he would probably be waiting for a glove to do the graveyard methods for Houlihan, because with those flippers we can't just splash 4 times over at the useless berry to mess up our Y coordinate.
Yep. Makes it a lot easier, but obviously, like you said, flippers makes the method pretty hard.
We did find the blue mail from out of the lost ones. The well. Good start. Good start. We'll take that.
Nobody complains about finding some armor early.
Yeah, and also I should mention as well that we do have a bow that's on the lumberjack ledge, so that might come into play later on.
This may come down to comfortability with silverless.
Yeah, if we find another bow, yeah.
Yeah. That bow could be our first logical bow and be blocking the other bow, in which case ignore what I said about comfortability with silverless. Yeah, they'll need it anyways.
Yeah, and that's something I was kind of alluding to, where the possibility of it being our first bow being in play, so as long as like GT as long as it's either GT, like it's a GT or something like that.
Yeah. God forbid it's in GT.
Yeah,
that would suck.
Yeah, I've joked before that the silvers will always show up in GT, just because it seems like it always appears in every single seed. Seemingly, Andrew opted to go ahead and take a blind check at the race game. It's just a piece of heart, opting to save quit out of that.
I hate the blind check, but I feel like if you blind check and it's a piece of heart, you might still want to pick it up. It's not the worst thing in the world, a piece of heart.
Yeah, with a piece of heart, you'll never know if that extra heart that you get from completing the set of card pieces is enough will help you out in some capacity. Andrew actually opted to go ahead and leave out the South Shore for the time being. Instead, just going to go do flipper checks.
I imagine this will be hobo into Ice Rod Cave and then do South Shore in reverse with that dock down there. Or it could go directly to Zora if they find the money here.
Yeah, and with those with those 404 rupees on both players' sides, we are close to that Zora money.
Incredibly so. I'm surprised that was a save and quit. Well, I suppose that would be faster now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it looks like SEJay had told Andrew to head over to Sal's Rala hut, while Akuheish will go through Mini Moldorm Cave. Although hopefully we'll get the information off of that. It looks like our wonderful trekker NiobiumNarwhal on top of this, and looks like we had spotted a moon pearl inside the Mini Moldorm Cave.
incredible. That's getting them real close. Oh, and there's a bow in Sahasrar's hut.
Yeah. However, we couldn't quite see what the other item was, just due to the fact that we're still trying to resolve these technical issues. So that means we will never see that bow that's on Lumberjack Ledge ever again. And one of our wonderful mentors, Trinex, pointed out that it was just cash. The bow was the only thing that was a thing.
It's the one time you'll ever hear me say that. So revel in it.
And we are seeing Andrew heading into Pendant's Eastern Palace, and we find the boots there.
Immediately worth it. Doesn't matter what else they find in here. Immediately worth it for those boots.
Boots. Not only it gives you some checks, but it's also fast. And you can turn out any boots stuff anymore because you can just walk the right way. And we do get our big key, and that was enough to save quite. Now, the logic for that, with the big key being in a non-vanilla spot, that means the fire rod is a legal fire source for the back.
Yeah, something commonly that's commonly forgotten. There are torches in that second Eastern Palace dark room. So, with that big key there, they can complete Eastern Palace with only the fire rod.
It looked like Andrew was trying to do the fun little hookshot clip, but couldn't get it, so we're gonna just do the alternative method, and that's just grab the chest after we're done checking the sunken treasure.
Now they seem to be covering each other's tracks, with Andrew doing the South Shore and I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the other
Akuheish.
Okay, thank you for that. And Akuheish seems to be doing the rest of those flippers checks that we saw Andrew do earlier.
Yeah, so now Andrew will get his Moon Pearl along with the flute. I completely missed that when we were checking it. And we are going to save quit out. We're not going to check the we already checked the hobo already, and we're not. That means we're probably going to take a guess on saying Ice Rod Cave will not show up until probably it comes down to it.
Yeah. Getting that flute early is really nice for routing. It also gives us access to the entirety of Eastern Death Mountain with access up to the mountain to begin with.
And looking like what Andrew is going to do is going to immediately activate the flute after grabbing it from the Midi Moldarm cave. So I think this might be a routing choice to maybe along the way cover Ice Rod Cave, since you can float flute to 8 and you'll be really close to that Ice Rod Cave. Let's see what SEJay has plans for Andrew when what they want to do. It's up to 1.
Not surprising with the advent of Eastern Death Mountain access, and especially if they're comfortable with this dark room, it makes saving and quitting so much less painful, because you get your full restore and your out and with the flute, you're pretty much anywhere you want to be almost instantly. Don't have to walk out of Sanctuary. Don't have to go out with less health than you want out of Lake's house. It's the best of both worlds.
Not to mention, we also have a lot of items up on this Death Mountain, so it makes sense that we're going to be heading here first. Andrew was trying to run with the boots and realized you cannot move as fast as you can when grabbing the old man, because why would you run like as fast as you are when you have an old man next to you?
Incredibly rude. The bomb stair speed. Oh no! Falling all the way back down. That's happened to me before.
Yeah, that's happened to me before as well. No worries. We will we'll get our hook speed again. 10 arrows on top of the spectacle rock. And we do get our single that's inside that rock. And we did see, we don't know currently where Akuheish and NiobiumNarwhal found it at. There is a tempered sword and red beetle on that side.
Tempered sword, probably, well, anybody that runs NMG will tell you it's the best sword upgrade. It's that critical mass for damage that you want in, just as it is with the red mail, or with the blue mail. Not complaining about finding red mail ever.
Anyway, we are now heading into Paradox Cave now. And we only see 20 rupees on both sides of the two bottom chests inside Paradox. And now top 5.
And there's that tempered sword.
Okay, so that's some good intel to get, because that means that tempered sword was pretty early on. Nice spawn jump from Andrew.
Very nice one. It saves a nice bit of time with not having to fall and walk all the way back around. Getting a peek at what that floating island item is, and it's just a pack of bombs.
Yeah. All right. Up to Spiral Cave. This with those boots, this makes Spiral Cave a lot faster. And if you had boots, it would be pretty. It is kind of a slog. So it's good to have boots for this section.
You want to have boots or hookshot to make it less painful, and fortunately, we have both, so no complaining.
Yeah, just 20 rupees on that Spiral Cave, but that will be plenty for Andrew, as we now see a sanctuary pickup, and it looked like Akuheish, although it's still frozen but we're gonna try and resolve that soon. But we did see that Akuheish did pick up the boots out in Eastern Palace.
Fortunately, did not leave Eastern because it was a pendant. And, of course, gets rewarded with those boots. Now the question is if they dive more into Eastern, unlike Andrew. Because that could be a turning point. And it looks like they are diving further into it.
Right, yeah. This makes a lot of sense, too. Like Andrew will back on Swamp Cave. It's just 50 rupees. We do have Zoro money.
Andrew setting up a water wall. Was that the hammer? That was the hammer.
Oh, wow. So the decision to leave Eastern Palace might come back to haunt Andrew and SEJay, and we should get 3 items from Eastern. So we're good.
Back to that hammer being in Eastern. CJ to at some point turn around and grab that hammer. But yeah, that's gonna hurt for a while unless they turn around when they get the fire rod.
Yeah, my best bet maybe is once they start to run out of possibilities, possible checks they can do, they might have to go back into Eastern. They're going to probably be funneling. They might be just be bottlenecked into Eastern to get that hammer. So we're not really having much of note. CJ and Andrew did spot some and actually completely missed it.
The green ocean bottle.
Yeah, I would pick it
First
up.
Bottle. Yeah, you would not pick up your first bottle. That's an extra check and an incredible safety. With that net, you can pick up a fairy. So yeah. Not complaining about a first bottle.
Yeah, it's definitely a good move to make in this regard, and we're gonna go ahead and see that sit kit check right now. And that actually was that red bill that Akuheish had picked up.
Once again, it seems like they're mostly covering each other's tracks again. Oh, well. Right as I say that, we get to see Desert Ledge and Agina's Cave. Wonder if Agina has anything for us.
Yeah, with it being what I can tell is that there are not a whole lot of checks we could do at the moment, like left, except Hera, because that Hera is a crystal. We're gonna have to clear that out. Agina's Cave is just a piece of heart, though. We won't be complaining though, because it's a piece of heart. Who knows if we will get a refill in the future.
And we are going to see Boots' Hera pot from Akuheish, and that was incredibly clean.
Yeah,
Second try.
Yeah, only 2 attempts, and the second attempt was enough to clear it out. And looks like Andrew and CJ are making their way back to Eastern Palace. There's our fire rod that we found in the chest below the big chest. We did get a small key. So if they don't find the item for if they don't find the item on Moldorm, they could just head down to the Hera basement with the fire rod that they just acquired to get that item.
It's the gamble of leaving it, which is an incredibly common one, because as we all know, Hera basement takes at least 7 years to complete.
Yeah, it is a slow to clear, and it would make sense to skip it, and I wouldn't hold Akuheish and Iron Gamer against them for skipping it. It is as you said, a pretty common skip to make.
I think in this situation, I'm personally against it. You don't have a whole lot of access after Hera, but that's me. You also don't have the mirror to quickly get back up, so you'd have to go all the way back around if needed.
Yeah, and Akuheish will be heading back into Hera, I do agree. In this current state, when we're kind of running low on checks, we have to pick it up.
Andrew and CJ, now armed with that hammer, heading up to Hera, where they will find their fire rod.
Yeah, and that will, as I kind of predicted, you are kind of have to be funneled into that hammer just so you can get a crystal clear and also your fire rod. However, Andrew does get dead rocked. There is a way you could opt to jump down like a ledge that's just above them to just get past that, although it does take time. And there's our lamp.
Fires in Hera. You love to see it.
Yeah, some people will comment that it is the rule of fire, but at this point, I don't know if there's anything left, but I think we have to go to kill Aga, because Akuheish will find out the stuff in Aegina's, and since Andrew and SEJay are a little behind because of that the hammer situation, they will head into Aga and not have to worry about Aegina's because they already checked it.
Yeah, that lamp was the final piece to the Aga puzzle, and naturally have to go do that. And while you're there, route in those silvers.
Yeah,
it'll speed up your Ganon.
Yeah, I think that is the right call to make. And Andrew is opting to go for the Philly pot. This is a more recent development, somewhat recent development, by one of our mentors, Phyllis T, during her run in last year's mentor tournament. She had actually discovered this on her own, and this has been the go-to Parapot setup. And Andrew does make it on the second try.
It's incredibly nice and amazing that one of last year's racers found that setup, because it is, as I just said, incredibly nice. If I have boots and hookshot, I will still go for the hook speed one. But without boots, that's my go-to.
Yeah, I've been meaning to practice the hook speed one just because I haven't really gotten used to it personally, just because it is the hook speed one is particularly finicky.
It is a little bit finicky, but that was the first one I ever learned, so I suppose I'm a bit more used to it.
Yeah, just stick to what's comfortable to you, and just go from there. And that's what I'm more comfortable with the Philly pot, regardless of Madel or regardless of boot situation. It's simpler for me because I used to be a big Dracarys user, and that Philly pot had made the Dracarys setup actually a lot more manageable, and there's not a whole lot of menu buffering on that end.
Mm. Yeah, Philly pot it's much, like you said, it's much more lenient on what's required of you as a racer.
And on the second lineup too. The only pixel perfect thing you really need to do is just that first the part where you're actually placing the bomb down, and the rest is just like the rest of the way through. It's actually very lenient. But anyway, enough talk about the Philly pots. We are going to see Akuheish heading into Aga 1. Now, Aga's pattern, if Akuheish were to hit every single red ball at once, can only fire between 0 to 15 blue balls. My bad. If you want to get your guesses in, go ahead and do so. We are now pulling Aga 1 now. Now, if you're not familiar with how Aga's patterns works, it works like this. Aga's patterns will works like the first hit will always be a blue ball or a red ball guaranteed. The next 3 attacks will either be a red ball or a blue ball. And then the final attack is a lightning attack, and then the pattern resumes until you get 6 blue balls in. And like Akuheish actually wanted to do a little fun and actually go for the bug net strats for Aga.
Some swag net strats out of Akuheish there. And yeah, they're silly. But they're fun.
Yeah, actually, I opted to not to actually let a red ball pass him and actually not bother with the. And we'll possibly have another blue ball cycle, because of it. But despite the fact that it looks funny to do, it is actually a part of logic for certain modes that is outside the scope of this tournament.
Yep. Swordless being the primary one where you will see net logic, as well as some of the glitched modes will have logic for it.
We do get our Dark World map check. Pod and Steve's Town are our 5/6s, and Turtle Rock is dependent.
Not leave a whole lot of important things that can be in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and also another thing too with the Aga fights is that one thing you could do you can actually minimize some lag by holding the if you have a shield, you can hold the top. You can get into a safe corner and then hold the wall. That way, it does reduce some lag that it generates because shields, any shield will generate lag on lightning attacks.
Yep. As we see Andrew approaching Aga, we see Akuheish going directly to Pod. Not surprising.
Yeah, with it being a crystal, it makes sense to go and clear Pod here because you have a bow, you have a hammer, you have a lamp, and it just makes sense to actually go up here to clear that out.
Why not full clear both of your 5/6s almost right off the bat? I'll get you a Pyramid Fairy, which is 2 more quick checks. As well as, being required dungeons.
Andrew does also miss a blue ball, so yeah, Andrew will also see another cycle. We'll possibly see another cycle here. Possible blue balls. Alright, so as Andrew is going to be completing that fight, although so it looked like it might have been 3 regardless if they had not missed them. Then again, I could be wrong. I must have miscounted. Andrew also gets that map check for that information, and it looked like Akuheish has 3 keys.
Yeah, the pod key logic. You had 4 keys before you had opened any doors, which means the vanilla big key, of course, has it could have been not a key, but it just moved one of the keys that you could have normally got in the back up there. Which is unfortunate, because key logic dictates that could have been important, so you hate going key for a key there.
Yeah,
but I imagine both players will end up doing that, because, like I said, pod key logic is one of the few logics that you will tend to learn while playing this randomizer.
Yeah, so to summarize the key logic, in the first 6 chests of pod, only at the minimum 4 small keys can be picked up to a maximum of, and it can also be 5 keys, or it could also, all 6 keys could be in the front. And I've seen it happen. But looks like that was, I don't know if that was 5 or 6 that we saw, but it doesn't matter either way. We good.
I do believe it was 5 keys in the front.
Okay, so, but more importantly though, we did get our glove, we did get a burnout, and we also got ether medallion.
Looks like Akuheish is setting up for a death warp here out of the big key chest. Not uncommon, especially without mirror. And a relatively easy one to do due to those Rangos, I believe they're called.
Yes.
Always dealing 1 heart of damage, no matter what armor you have.
Oh.
And what an unfortunate time to find your 4th heart piece.
Yeah, that's also one thing. So yeah, you're gonna have to abandon ship on that endeavor. So what? So yeah, one thing that I will tend to do, is if I have small key, if I have heart pieces, I'll check my inventory I'll check my menu to see how many heart pieces I have. And if I'm like 3 heart pieces, I start to get a little concerned, because if that's my 3rd, if I get a heart piece now, that situation happens.
It's unfortunate when that happens, but
yeah.
Not much you can do to avoid that situation.
Yeah, but Akuheish, seeing Akuheish and Iron Gamer seeing what had happened, is going to go ahead and just take that, take advantage of the fact that the Harmless Hellway has a key for a key. So they'll just take that route to get back to the front with no mirror.
And that's another reason you will eventually start to learn that pod key logic, so that you know that you will be going key for a key there, and that it's not the worst thing in the world.
Correct.
Knowing when you can skip chests in pod saves a whole lot of time.
Right. Yeah, because with how key logic tends to work, with how key logic works in dungeons, is that it expects you to use all the user keys in the worst possible ways. So, and in this case, in this situation, the fact that both player, if Akuheish rather, had gotten a refill, Akuheish took advantage of the fact that, yeah, well, I did use 5 keys already. I did use 4 keys already, and I know the Harmless Hellway is a key for a key. I could just take advantage of the fact that, yeah, I could just go into the Harmless Hellway and not bother at all. So kind of just sort of gaming the system with how you have to use your key logic expects you to use all the keys in the worst possible ways.
Mm-hmm. All Zelda randomizers that feature keys are like that, except for 2 of them. Or if you play retro mode in this one. The 2, of course, that I'm talking about are... Oh no, there's 3. Majora's Mask also lets you do optimal keys, because you can keep picking keys back up due to the 3-day cycle. Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 randomizers do not have key logic. Which is fun and incredibly annoying.
Right. So now with Akuheish's clear of pod done, Iron Gamer, and it looks like the two are going to be heading into the Village of Outcast portal. We do have Swamp, or sorry, it's not Swamp, Skull Woods and Thieves Town cleared, being as clearable crystal dungeons.
I imagine that without Mirror, we'll probably see a skull into Thieves Town play here.
Yeah, in this in this case, you definitely want to go clear Skull Woods first before heading into Village of Outcasts at all. You want to go back to front, considering you're actually in a good state, in terms of your armor and your offense.
Well, amount of damage you can deal to Mothula, so you're looking really for our drops, which with red and however many we have, that looks to be 8. Oh, that's 9 hearts. With red mail and 9 hearts, you're generally not too worried about your health.
Yeah, the one thing you might want to keep an eye out is the spikes, because they will do 1 heart of damage regardless of mail, so that's something you may want to avoid. But Mothula and her beam attack will do half a heart on red mail, so Akuheish will be in a good state, although still have to be mindful of those spikes.
Spikes are the killer during the Mothula fight. Those spikes with the conveyor floor is just a nightmare, as we all know.
The Moth fight is definitely one of those fights where it is a tough fight, and it's just, I felt like it was made to be really hard, or just artificially for no reason.
Yeah, because the Moth fight, if you've ever played Shuffle Enabled, Mothula is not a hard boss. Anything put in Mothula's room suddenly becomes a real pain. So I'm not sure that Moth is the hard fight. I think you're battling the room more than you're battling Mothula.
Yeah, and not to mention too that if Mothula were to get hit by spikes, because of the way the game, due to a quirk in the way the game handles damage values, Mothula will not take any damage because it's considered a tier 4 damage type if it gets thrown into spikes.
Yep, Mothula is immune to anything in that damage class. So in vanilla, that includes your gold sword. In randomizer, the gold sword is modded to do tempered sword damage in those rooms, so that you don't not do damage and get soft locked because you don't know that. But they did not change spins, so spins will still deal that 4th class of damage and deal nothing to Mothula.
Yeah, and Andrew Andrew and SEJay opted to grab the silvers off of the lumberjack ledge, which I agree with, because that is a play that's definitely the right move to make. And Andrew is actually going to opt to buy the red potion from Kakariko. You don't normally see that.
I'm thinking it may have just been a convenient safety to grab after you had already fluted to 3, realizing I actually do want a red potion.
Yeah, and
not wasting the time going back to flute spot 2 is
another consideration too. Andrew only has 60 rupees, and thus can't afford. Well, I think at the time of the purchase, I don't think he had enough to cover a blue potion. Then I must have missed it.
Yes, because red potions outside of the potion cost 150, so that was definitely enough to purchase a blue. You will know that Andrew will be fine on money since we saw a bunch of it. Well, I believe there was money in the front of if I saw that correctly.
Yes.
But worried about digging game, which costs 80 rupees, and chess game, which, while cheaper at 30 rupees, will still put a dent into that money that you have, especially if you're low.
Yeah, in total, you would need, let's say, like what, 860 or 870 rupees to cover everything in the game?
500 at Zora, another 100 at Bottle Merchant. So that you're already up to 600 there.
You pay 10 for the spiff.
Yeah, and then another 110 at Kiki. Assuming that you get there first try. Because it's 10 times each time you grab Kiki, so if you lose at silly monkey, you lose the other days. 30 chess game. And then 2K.
It's 110, 220, 820 and 830 for everything else. For on top of everything else. So yeah, somewhere around the 800 mark.
Yeah, and another 100 for Big Bomb, as chat points out to me.
Yeah, so in that case it'd be 930. So, but at that point you would already have enough rupee. You'd have plenty of rupees anyway. So, and this is also under the assumption that you get the Big Bomb first try, because if you explode the bomb before it reaches the Pyramid Fairy, you still have to pay another 100.
Very true, and something to be aware of. I think most people generally won't have issues with that, unless they don't know that you can't jump off ledges, which burned me once after coming back to Rando after a while. I forgot that you can't go off ledges, and did not have enough rupees to pick that up again.
Yeah, it has burned me before in the past where you can't jump off ledges, and especially when I was learning the game in the early days of my career.
These guys have fantastic mentors, which, will prevent them from forgetting silly little things like that.
Yeah, and that's always great to have, because we have a great cast of mentors in this tournament. We also had some mentors that were originally mentees in last year's mentor tournament. So they have graduated to the mentor status for this year. And Akuheish does get a red shield from the Thieves' Town big chest.
Yep, Akuheish finishing up Thieves' Town here, going into Blind's room, preparing for the script, or at least most of it.
Yeah.
While we see Andrew and SEJay's routing decision takes them up to Bumper Ledge before heading back down towards Village of Outcasts. don't hate the play, especially since you don't have Mirror to cleanly route everything up there in currently. Definitely don't hate seeing that.
We also got our third bottle from Thieves Town of the Blinds. That's the fourth crystal that Akuheish has picked up. I will actually mention then too that the blind script, you only at maximum you're looking to the first 6 parts of the script is what really matters. Plus the 7th, like it's pokes up until the 7th one, the 7th hit, in which case you switched over to slashes.
Yep. And so long as you get most of those first 2 cycles down, remembering the rest of the script really isn't super necessary, at least early in to learning Rando.
You got a really quick dig game, 3 rupees, 3 digs for 20 rupees. So that's a quick in and out. The Stumpy gives out 20 rupees.
He was like, you forgot something, man. You left it on the ground here. I picked it up for you. Don't worry.
So next off is the Hype Cave, and once we're done with Hype Cave, we do also have our Big Bomb that we can acquire. So
yeah, expecting Big Bomb after Hype Cave here, which has our gold gloves in there. I imagine that will lead our runners towards Ice Palace in hopes of getting that red cane for Misery Mire.
Yeah, that is something that to keep in mind. Of course, we may. Maybe the runners may not be if they have worked enough to help to know about Icebreaker. They might not be comfortable without that Samaria in hands to do the Icebreaker.
Very true. I feel like I'm so old to the Rando at this point that I completely forgot that Icebreaker was not like new to everyone. That some people have learned that instead of IPJ.
It's two important tricks in Ice Palace, not being IPJ and Icebreaker. Especially IPJ is you don't just want to rely on Icebreaker, just like all the time. But sometimes you just simply won't have that to do so, and the red cake could just show up in Ice Palace, which is doing
yeah. My favorite sad red cake needed to shows up in that middle of the key chest there, haunting you from the other side of the wall.
Yeah, and that's also the more funny response than red cake, in that sense. We are going to see a the line fight just needs to part at an immediate standpoint quick. It's been over to Ace, and that is the signal to head into Ice Palace.
Yes, I expected heading to Ice Palace with that, with those newly gold gloves.
I was gonna say, and this is something that some murders will just simply will not do because icebreaker is kind of like the thing that makes the dungeon a lot more tolerable. But in this case, Akuheish wants to follow that mantra of always be crystal dungeons. So doesn't matter. He's gonna go and clear this out despite the cane, the lack of cane.
Yeah. I just thought of this, but they also got the Dark Death Mountain and Hookshot Cave as options too. So, with that being said, I also wouldn't be surprised if Andrew, if they're not super comfortable with the Ice Palace bomb jump, goes to do that instead in hopes of finding that red cane.
Yeah, and it looks like and it might be that, and considering that Akuheish wanting to go straight into go into Ice Palace as quickly as he had chose to do, is telling that he is comfortable with the Ice Palace bomb jump. So we'll go ahead and see that from him, and if this leads to the red cane, then that might cause some trouble for Andrew. Emphasis on might.
Yeah, Ice Palace bomb jump, notoriously a very precise trick for beginners, but it's oh so important for making Ice Palace even a little bit tolerable.
Yeah. He does have a red potion, so down that. What I'm doing is applying the spin method, the spin clip to help with the horizontal pixel, and it doesn't matter anymore since Akuheish got it.
Yeah, that the spin trick with falling down pits, incredibly useful for setting up precise bomb jumps, because it will get you on that very, very furthest pixel to the pit, the closest pixel to the pit. There we go. Words failed me for a moment.
Correct, and all you would really and in case of the Ice Palace bomb jump, you would only just consider the shadow of the. It's just the shadow. All you really worry about is the shadow of the bomb, the sword, the top of the sword.
Yeah, just saw someone in chat ask if all sprites have the same hitbox. Yes, they all have the same hitbox. The major difference you'll see with most is whether or not they cover the shadow. I personally use the shadow for all the setups so that I can swap freely between sprites that have the shadow exposed. If that's learning them based on shadows and not based on like a specific sword, because who knows what sword you'll have, or you know, if you'll be playing the same sprite that you learned the trick with.
Yeah, and that's in my time, I've definitely used my fair share of different sprites, and I've learned different lineups. I learned all the lineups for each one of them, and then eventually the shadow became what defined it. Even after creating my own sprites and putting it on the website, and that even then, even with my own sprite, I still know my lineups for everything, but just based on shadows alone. But anyway.
Yeah, a slight tangent about sprites. As we see the red cane in Ice Palace, a classic.
Oh yeah, that's That might be an issue.
Yeah. That could prove to be an issue, as it seems like Andrew not being comfortable with that Ice Palace bomb jump is avoiding it.
Yeah, and that's exactly why Ice Palace bomb jump is still important even in the age of the icebreaker. Because again, who knows if you need to? Who knows if you're gonna pull the King of Samaria and Ice Palace? Just like what happened. Andrew also got the ice rod out of the Mire Shed. Not really important because Turtle Rock is a pendant.
The only thing that could be slightly evil about that ice rod would be a mirror on Trinex, which I have now willed into existence because I am, of course, a commentator. Sorry, runners.
But it looks like Andrew will be heading to Ice Palace. And yes, he is using the palette shuffle. It does make the inside of this Ice Palace look somewhat like raspberry, like orange with like a hint of like strawberry.
Yeah, it's a very pleasing palette. I like the pinkish tone. Not to take away from the little glitch we just saw Akuheish do. With the fire rod being shot, if you have beams, shooting a beam at Cold Stare Shell will also damage it, while if you shoot it just after you shoot the fire rod. Little fun trick allows you to save some magic for the Cold Stare fight if you don't have half magic or bombos.
I've been meaning to practice that for some time, and I just never haven't had a chance to do it. And also, we did get a small key from Cold Stare, which means Cold Stare was Mario Bot.
Indeed, Cold Stare was. Fortunately, Samario being in the dungeon, you know, it's a little bit of confusion there if you're not too used to doing Ice Palace without the bomb jump. But with bomb jump or icebreaker, it doesn't matter where that key ends up. You always have enough keys to complete the dungeon.
Correct, and just I didn't get a chance to see what the medallion was because we actually are around go -1 or 2, depending on what the Mire medallion was.
I believe it might be either. That is Quake. So with Akuheish, I think that it was the one that we did indeed have. So we are a Quake and Mirror from, assuming that none of the concepts are correct.
Yeah, that's what it is. It looks like Andrew's actually going to go for that bomb jump. Steve's popped it up, and look at you use the menu to try and light up that important bomb the shadows of the shadow and the top of his sword blade. It's a little finicky because of the way Link moves. Link moves at an average of 1.5 pixels per frame.
Yeah, and a clean first try bomb jump, even if it was buffered, that still counts. First try.
That's well done for Andrew. But yeah, since Link moves at an average of 1.5 pixels per frame, and also Quake is also on Turtle Rocks, which means we can eliminate Quake as a possibility on the pedestal.
Thank God for that. Would not want this to be an Aga and a Pet Seed. Instead, I've already cursed you to doing Pendant Turtle Rock, so.
Yeah, which is good because we also don't even need to go to the Panic Turtle Rock for that case.
Yeah. Turtle Rock
But-
can only hold the mirror as important, or those quest items.
Right. So as Akuheish is heading into Hookshot Cave to finish the thought about movement, when you move down and to the right, you move. You start your first pixel starts at one. You move your first starting pixel is at movement is at 1, and then it alternates between 2 and 1 and 2, and then up and to the left is starts at 2, and then it moves 2 1 2 1 or so on. If I get, unless I said it's actually up and right and down and left for 1 and 2, I may have just maybe getting this confused.
No,
But we did get quick.
up and left are 2, down and right are 1. You had it right.
Okay, cool. All right.
And while you were explaining that, we did find Quake in Hookshot Cave along with the Mirror Shield.
Right underneath the doorstep.
It looked like Akuheish may have been thinking about going into Pendant Turtle Rock there for a moment until they realized they did not indeed have the mirror.
Correct. Yeah, and thus we in a blink of an eye, we now have or now Go -1 mirror go mode, which means we can eliminate Graveyard Ledge, we can eliminate Cave 45, we can eliminate Checkerboard Cave, Mimic Cave.
Yeah, we will get to see. Oh well. We will get to see both Go Mode Mire and Swamp on Akuheish's side. We'll have to see about Andrew whether or not they and SEJay decide to go do those overroll checks. And oh no, whiffing a fire rod shot, gonna be forced to do that trick that I mentioned earlier with the Master Sword beams damaging Cold Stare's shell.
But it looks like Andrew
took a hit.
Yeah, it took a hit, and although with no green potions, is gonna have to save quit out. You do not want to see that ever.
Yeah, when strafing up left, happened to shoot that fire rod directly to the left, and while probably on the fly learning about that technique, got hit by the Cold Stare, or not by Cold Stare, but by the icicle in Cold Stare's room.
Yeah, and that's and that's definitely stings. Just considering that you want just to get, considering that you have to go from the top of Ice Palace all the way to the bottom all over again.
With the red pin, the trip is much shorter, fortunately, but it's still not pleasant.
Right. And so at least the good thing is that we will see Icebreaker, although it's not doesn't feel good considering Andrew's situation. And chat's wondering about if Andrew knows about the magic magic refill glitch. I don't believe Andrew knows that. It's very it's a niche glitch to learn.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
I know how to do it, but I don't really apply it ever because it's just that niche.
A neat little application of the same technique that's used for Icebreaker to go through the railing in Mire. I like that one. I don't know how to do it. I just like seeing it done.
Yeah, that's that and Icebreaker is a sub. It's basically it's all part of a overall overarching glitch known as a door state extension.
Mm-hmm.
So here, Andrew's going to go ahead and place a bomb, or place a Samaria block, and also the same time trying to get himself one pixel into the wall, and then by this is Samaria block and then moving into a door. For whatever reason, the game just moves the door state, moves his door state further past the block, past when trying to push the block.
Getting it unbuffered, which is impressive because that is a frame perfect trick if you do it unbuffered.
Yeah, I personally of the buffers, I do buffer and I do sort buffers, but I could do it fast enough to actually pretty much match, if not beat, unbuffered.
Yeah, I mean, if you get good at your buffer enough to get it first try consistently, you'll beat somebody that does unbuffered stuff, but maybe needs 2 or 3 tries in most cases. So get used to it with buffered strats, and then make your way through with learning some unbuffered strats. But consistency is key more than anything when it comes to playing Rando.
Yeah, to be consistent is your best option. Is your best thing you can have in your arsenal. Almost taking a death to the icicles after killing the final cold stare cloud was close, but still earns that crystal.
Now Andrew and SEJay are on that hunt for Quake and the mirror.
Yeah, and Akuheish will be well on their way over to Swamp Palace, and with it being a go mode swamp, you'd love to see the go modes just go mode swamp. Just you don't have to worry. You can do a diver down if you want to, if you have that learned, and you just feel good.
Yeah, go mode swamp is one of the fastest dungeons you can do. On the flip side, full clearing swamp is just about one of the slowest you can do.
Yeah, because you have to do a left side swamp, and you have to go through all of that nonsense, and then
you have to take a loop through the bottom there. It's slow, and yeah.
Albeit it's not as slow as Turtle Rock, like in general Turtle Rock.
Yeah. No contest, Turtle Rock beats out every dungeon, because no matter what you're doing in Turtle Rock, you are full clearing that dungeon minus 2, maybe 3 chests if you're lucky.
And as Trinax is pointing out in the chats, Akuheish just does not have those silvers, and he's just going to write off the silvers at all. Just probably showing confidence in the fact that he do silverless, which is fine. In this case, even with Andrew's silvers, the silvers of Akuheish being as far ahead as he currently is, the silvers will not save any time.
Yeah, not sure if Akuheish ever actually saw silvers, due to some of the tech issues we encountered earlier. So may not know they're actually there at Lumberjack if that peak was skipped early.
And also Trinax also filling in some of the details as well. If right now in this case it's not worth to grab the silvers, generally it's just simply not worth it. But if they get it earlier, then it would be worth it their time. But of course in this case,
yeah,
we don't need to worry about that at all.
with Gold Sword, Silverless is only 12 hits. Well, it'd be the same with Tempered, but the Ganon fight does not benefit too much from having Silvers as soon as you pick up that Gold Sword or Tempered Sword.
Yeah, the only thing that the Gold Sword does is just makes the one in one free.
It looks like Andrew and Mentor SEJay are not, or have not found that mirror, found that Quake and went directly to Meyer, so we'll be full clearing Meyer.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good, especially for knowing where the mirror position is at. It looks like they also had broken their spooky state by throwing out the lamp here.
Yep. Spooky is so particular.
Yeah, and just to kind of sum it up shortly, there's a variable in the game that's that's dependent on when the bird drops you off after floating away, and that also ties into some value with the fire rod that ties flash damage effect. If you can preserve that through into Mire and doing you can use the fight to hit far away.
In the not dark matter, but the one with the crystal switch with the sides allow to hit an area. Or, yeah, you have to hit the anti-barrier, right?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. It will trigger a crystal switch in the room above you.
Yeah, and that's how it works. But more importantly, Akuheish has 7 crystals. We're gonna make this quick. We're kind of on that spooky tangent for a while, but Ganon's Tower has 22 possible chests or locations or whatever. One of them has the big key. If you want to get your guesses in from 1 to 22, do so now. And if you are exact or are the first one to be close to that guess, then cool, good on you.
Price is Right rules.
Basically, yeah.
If you are over, you lose. If you're the closest person under, you win. If you guess it exactly, you win.
Yeah, that's just how it works.
I guess modest 7. Oh, half magic. Not saying no to that.
We're definitely not passing up half magic. So it looks like we were Akuheish opted to go last first to do a DM route.
Yeah. Good old Dark Magician route.
It's named after a former runner named Dark Magician who, I think the story goes he didn't like going towards the Stavros room. However, or towards the left or whatever. I forget the story, but it's something about having to do with the left side.
Yeah. Did not like the route of Rando room because if I'm not mistaken, right side getting to Ice Harmos is slightly faster.
Yeah, if you
don't
go
have to go through nearly as many rooms.
if you go full right, you you'll actually end up in the big room where you bonk off the pot to get to the ice arm, to get over to Bob's chest a lot faster. Currently up to 11, and we're actually going to be seeing that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Some variations of it actually opt to mirror after grabbing the pot, or after grabbing the key pot, and just keep going laps afterwards. But we're actually seeing the full right.
Isn't that bonk? Doors are very generous when you try and dash through them, which sometimes is not the greatest.
Yeah, and especially in that room where you're actually just where you have to actually, it's that platform's pretty small.
Mm-hmm. There is a path at the top leading down once you hit a switch, but that's so much slower.
Already up to number 12.
Didn't see what happened to Andrew. I was too busy commentating on the Dark Magician route.
Looks like they were gonna head over to the cutscene chest because there's an item there. And 13 is that big key in its vanilla location. So the closest one, 13, since there wasn't a 13, was Renegade Retro Games. Awesome name. Cool. Good on you.
Yeah. That was a guess at 12, right?
Yes. Yes, guess at 12, and he ends up, and it was 13, and there wasn't a 13. The closest one was 12.
Yeah, congratulations to you. Enjoy your internet points.
Rando seeds, or whatever we're feeling like on that day. I am more of a cool, good on you person. Although, ooh, yeah, that room is really tough.
I take a lot of damage in mimics too.
Yeah, and also
it is surprisingly a dangerous room.
Yeah, and because of the fact that Akuheish does not have enough arrows to cover the four arrows that's needed for that right side, or for the first mimic, it's gonna go and try to dig up some arrows.
And arrows required to get it's 1-2 arrow drops in mimics too.
5 is the 5 drop on the right, the 5 arrow pair on the right pot. That's all you don't get that.
So we're gonna take that for a little bit and find some arrows, hopefully.
Might feel a little concerned, knowing that you died here, and for all we know, for all he knows, Andrew could have been climbing Turtle Rock, but knowing what we know, Akuheish is in striking distance of finishing this out. Are we gonna try it? So we're going back in. Are we gonna see a mimic clip?
I'm not sure what we're seeing here.
Yeah, I'm actually. I don't know what to think here. I think we're actually gonna see it. Yeah, we're gonna see a mimic clip here.
I was not expecting to see a mimic clip here.
Yeah, I will say this: I don't expect everyone to in the mentees in this tournament to know Mimic Clip, but it's something to have in the back pocket, just in case. Like you don't need to you pull it out in every single scene. It's something that you can do if you're confident enough in doing it.
So, as our tracker, Narwhal says in track, they are here to learn things after all.
But looks like if Akuheish just couldn't seem to get it, so it's gonna have to go back outside to try and dig up heroes and just go through the normal way. And there's that 10-pack. Second tries the charm, and we're now starting our climb again.
Unfortunately, we see Andrew going into Pendant Turtle Rock, which we know has nothing of importance.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I will give credit where credit is due for Akuheish actually attempting the Mimic Clip. Even if it didn't work out, that is something that I was not expected at all. And just
enough.
Yeah, and does not take that 5-pack that just dropped. At this, so as long as Akuheish doesn't die again, shouldn't have to worry.
Did pick up a fairy outside, so
Wait, which is fine. Like having a fairy in having a fairy is good to know, and that's that fairy being used right now.
We'll most likely be taking a visit to refill room here. Yeah.
Yeah. When in doubt, go into the safety room. Just that's it's there for a reason.
Got 2 fairies. Can grab some magic, some bombs. It's got everything you could ever need.
Yeah, and I've seen people even in some of the best runners still go into that because in case in situations where they are low and they need to get some health and fast. I do it whenever I'm in that situation. But yeah, so
yeah, anytime I feel like there's not an unreasonable chance that I will die somewhere on the climb. It's absolutely worth taking that safety room there.
Yeah, and there's actually our final bottle end up inside Turtle Rock.
But as we see that final bottle, Andrew is finishing up Turtle Rock here in the dark room.
Yeah, and in this scenario, that this definitely doesn't feel all that well, considering what we know, the mirror, or we know about the seed of Akuheish with that mirror, finding it at the point when it needed it. Even I don't know if this is just something that got missed. I don't know if Turtle Thievestone did Andrew never finish Thievestone? If it, or did it not get picked up? Because I'd be surprised if Andrew didn't go to Thievestone.
Thievestone is done. They do have the shovel, so
yeah. So
just
okay.
Shovel is so easy to forget sometimes because that so much.
So yeah, it's there. Just that, like, Jungle in this case doesn't feel good. Just at all. So, yeah. And with the defense that he has, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't even bother with the final four chests, even including Moldorm 2. Just you're loaded, you're decked out. You have 13 hearts, you have red mail, you have gold sword, you have a bear shield. You're not really looking for anything else. And if you're that's competent with Silverless, then you don't even need to grab any of the chests going forward.
Yep.
This deck is actually not too bad though. I will say. Again, although then again
that blue ball is unfortunate. That was set up to be a really smooth Aga.
I mean, it's so smooth out of the way, even with that blue ball. So the next thing that Akuheish will have to do after defeating Naga 2 is to kill Ganon. And like I mentioned, this will with the confidence that Akuheish has with Silverless, and with that gold sword in hand, this will be a cakewalk. And it looks like Andrew wanted to go into Desert Palace and further and further leaving out that shovel spot. Grace does take some fire bats, does take a fall, but that fairy that you got in the safety room does come into use here. Always nice to have that in the back pocket during the Ganon fight. And you can't when you're not really too confident with the fire bar with the fire bat positionings in phase 2.
Yeah, with half magic gold sword or tempered sword, cape is a very common thing to see there as well. Because while you are slashing your sword, the cape does not consume magic. Why? I really wish I knew.
Yeah, I wish I knew as well, just because it's just something. It's just some weird quirk with the game, and even holding a wall with the cape on will also prevent magic drain. Again, I wish I knew why it does that, but I just don't.
The game works in mysterious ways, and most of the time we're just okay with that. Other times we get 1.0. We get 1.0 and are angry.
Yeah, it's a 30-year-old game. You gotta cut some slack.
But I don't want to. I hate getting 1.0.
1.0, yeah. Well, to be fair, 1.0 getting 1.0 feels bad.
Yeah. This game's awesome.
Yeah, that's why this game is such a cornerstone and a very important in the Legend of Zelda series. Established a lot of things that we come to just expect from Zelda nowadays. Andrew even gave me a pedestal check, just some couch cash though, but more importantly, Akuheish does take down Ganon. Key to the chat for Akuheish will finish the season out.
Well done, Silverless. Got hit once, I think, after using that fairy.
Yeah, and that is an official racetime.gg time of 1:37:20.
Wait, legit speed there for Akuheish.
Yeah, it was.
Everything just fell in place.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely looking like it was a case where Akuheish had just found the places and just really fell perfectly on his lap, and there really wasn't any complaints from there. It's like yeah, sure, we have to do an Agaseed, but even then, for an Agaseed, that's actually pretty quick. Even our Restreamer Pick 6 had commented on that.
And as always, shoutouts to Pick 6, our glorious restreamer for tonight. While we had some tech issues at the beginning, got it all sorted out on the fly. Very nicely done.
Yeah, and even
also shoutouts to our tracker, NiobiumNarwhal, did a fantastic job tracking while we were having these tech issues. Kept everything up to date. Very well done. Cannot thank these two enough.
Yeah, and of course, these two runners, as we've seen, they're incredible, and their mentors are also very well established, and they are also great. So you definitely would want to give them a follow because without their supports, we wouldn't be even having this tournament at all. And of course, since we were shouting out to our trackers and researchers and stuff, of course, I'm Professor Rando and my co-coms, Ehseezed, give us a follow spot. We're hearing Akuheish and Iron Gamer joining us in the booth. GG's, and what an excellent performance.
Thanks. Yeah, very good game.
Incredibly well raced.
Yeah, that shovel, we weren't really sure. We were talking about going into TR if we got Quake on the mountain, and we got Quake, and we were like, wait a sec, we can't mirror. So then, instead of that...
Yeah, I saw that decision. You walked over there and went, wait.
Yeah.
And then just continued out to Spike Cave.
Yeah. So we were talking about, well, before we go to Mire, maybe King's Tomb or Shovel. Which one do you want? So Aku chose Shovel, and that was it.
Yeah, and it seems like everything fell on your lap, and the decision to go to the Shovel was the correct one. It definitely was the right choice in general.
Yeah, and that's just Rando. But
Yeah.
No, it was
another thing that's. Oh, sorry about that.
Nope.
You can continue.
That was all I was just gonna say. It felt like a pretty good seed, honestly.
While it was an Agaseed, it played pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah, and being able to do Aga and just go right into pod and full clear it, it's not just too hard of a call. I think we only left Zora behind before jumping into Aga.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was about to mention that the early play into Eastern, both of you did it, but Andrew and SEJay decided to dip out after finding the big key.
Oh no.
Where you guys continued on to find that hammer.
Oh,
which...
yeah. Poor guy.
Yeah, I'd rather full clear a dungeon that's out of the way.
Yeah.
With that one being harder to get back to.
And it worked out really well getting the third item. Go to. We just had not. Let's go. Didn't. Probably not.
It seemed like every decision you guys made worked.
Sometimes it feels great when you're making those gambles and it actually and I was like, oh no, it's up to you. And then didn't even get an item in the front and said, let's go, let's get out of here. And I know I was thinking about it the whole time, but luckily it turned out to not be there, especially making our way south in the Dark World, up the Hive Cave. Those red crystals were super convenient, so we're like, well, we'll do the south route into Hive Cave, into Pyramid Ferry, and right before we got those mitts, I was like, we only got like 3 checks left, like Zora, which we skipped and gambled on, Skull Woods, which we skipped and gambled on, and I think the other one was like Spy Cave or something. So they're all terrible, and just yeah, the glove bailed us out.
Yeah. Being able to enter Dark World, checking your map, and realizing I can clear both of my red crystals has to be a good feeling.
So appealing, right?
Yeah. Very nice feeling for that.
Especially
yeah,
after you just did Aga.
Yeah, I felt, you know, it's nice to be partnered with Aku, and you know, we get along really well. So I think just us being a team really worked in our favor. And you know, looking at what's left on the map, I think it was routed really well. We didn't end up having to check too much unnecessary, and like you said, things just kind of kept going in our lap. And you know, when that happens, you just gotta run with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And run with it, you did.
Too.
Yeah, we were contemplating the pros and cons of getting swords while we were in Mire, and we got the gold sword, and I think that kind of solidified the decision of not needing it, which kind of bit us. But yeah, decided to try and go for Mimic Clip, but couldn't quite sneak it off this time.
Yeah.
We were
I
very
took-
surprised to see
Well, we were like
you go in
60
for
dicks,
that.
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, with that much digs, you had to resort to your next best option, and even if you didn't pull it off, I'm so impressed either way. Just even see to even see it, I mean, in this tournament, like at all.
Yeah, well, that's why I said, how confident are you in the Mimic Clip? And said, let's go for it. And it was getting there. It was close. I mean, you know, with
Yeah, you were close there a few
everything else
times.
going on.
I think I got halfway there.
But still, it would have been super cool to see that. But it's just one of those things. Unfortunately, you know, the RNG was doing its thing, and just couldn't get that right dig. So at least it was fairly early on the second set of digs.
Yeah, at least that second set of digs was just enough to, even if like after like make up that much that the lost time. Were you at all feeling any worry considering that you had to dig up to stuff to do it? There's backed up.
Like I'm always worried whenever I have to dig. My opponent, I'm sure, doesn't have to. Did they get silver?
One of those things. It's like, okay, like, oh, I'm sitting here looking for arrows, but you know, there goes our opponent. Probably just leapfrogged us right now, right? So that's all that's probably going through your head, and now you know, probably a little bit nervous doing the GT climb. A couple mistakes turns into a couple more, and it's just like, all right, you know, just have to recollect yourself and feel good and just stay on your path and just power on. And it worked out this time.
Yeah, those nerves can definitely get to you, especially when it's getting down to the wire and you know you've played such a good game up until then.
Yeah, you'd hate to see it kind of fall apart, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes, right?
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, you played so incredibly well. A 37-minute time, or 37-minute, that would be insane. An hour 37-minute time.
Yeah, 37 minutes, you should mentor me.
Yeah, I wish I could go that fast.
Yeah, I was super
Absolutely
impressed.
insane time.
Yeah, Aku was on point. We had that little snafu in GT, but other than that, I thought he played incredible. You know, even at IPBJ, where you know we don't usually do it as much these days in Rando, getting that on a third try, you know, still feels good. I mean, I wouldn't complain. And luckily, had that bottle.
I'm not gonna complain about that. IPBJ.
Yeah. Did take you a few tries, but it's to be expected. It's not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, you know, we're not doing it every seed like we used to.
Yeah.
So it's not
Those were the days that I never want to go back to.
yeah.
Yeah.
No thanks, V29.
V29.
Oh jeez, the roots.
At least I wasn't even there when B29 was a thing, so I was spared.
Yeah, you're lucky. I think that's about the time when I
And
kind of started up.
But yeah, I don't really have anything else to comment on. I don't know. I think we pretty much have answered as much questions as we possibly could have asked. So if you have any final thoughts on this, go ahead and just speak your mind.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, thanks to Aku for choosing me to be his mentor. I know we're pretty good buddies, you know, going back a little bit here, and you know, it's just nice to be part of this and to try and help where I can. And you know, thinking back, if I had something like this, or if I wasn't too nervous to jump into something like this when I had started, I think this is such a cool thing to be happening, and just helps welcome people to the community, and just to be part of it, you know, I'm so thankful. And you know, to be on a restream for all of this, and you know, watching Aku just crush this seed, I'm just so grateful to be part of this. And yeah, so thanks to you guys.
absolutely no problem. Be sure to go give these guys a follow. They played an incredible game of Rando. They deserve it.
Yeah, and again, don't count out Andrew. He's still going at it, undeterred by what has happened. Definitely want to give him and SEJay a follow. They're sticking it out to the very end. Yeah, they definitely deserve the follow.
Nice. Was it? I'm not. Obviously, don't know what happened. Was it kind of just a snag somewhere, or on the shovel, maybe?
Shovel.
It's
Yeah.
a snag on the shovel, and early on, you guys got a nice breakaway by full clearing. Well, quote unquote.
Oh
full
yeah,
clearing,
Eastern.
but you got all the
right.
majors out of Eastern,
Yeah.
whereas they got those boots and the big key and noped out.
That's super unfortunate, and I get that. You know, I've been in that case too, where, you know, oh, this, you know, I can't possibly have another major item, and you're just thinking about, oh, I want to go here and I want to go there. So, you know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. That, you know, you make that gamble and it doesn't pay off, or sometimes it does, right?
Yep, that's Rando for you.
It is.
It's the reason we love it. It's the reason we hate it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Good old hate love.
Yeah, Rando's gonna Rando, and that really is how you really say, really, in these situations.
Yeah, and you know, it's just something to keep in mind for next time. You know, I'm sure in Andrew's next seed, he's not going to do that, right? You know, and the sting will go away after a while. And we were talking about earlier when we found the fire rod in Hera about, you know, gambling on maybe not going to Hera basement. And it's like, well, you know, we're here, and at that point there was only a couple checks, and go both fire sources in Hera. What are the odds? That was kind of funny too.
The odds are probably higher than you think.
Yeah, really. But again, we were just kind of talking to ourselves about the possibility of a gamble, and you know, the pros and cons, and you know, risk reward, having to come back to the back to Hera after, you know, say skipping it, it's much, much worse, that walk of shame, than just committing to it
not
and
just-
getting nothing.
Yeah, not just back to Hera, but back to Hera the long way.
Yeah, even worse, right? All the way around.
Yeah. Renderer and I had talked about that, and it was like, while it's not uncommon, I feel like at this point, without the mirror, having to walk all the way back up to wait 7 years in coffee break is not something either of our runners here want to do.
Oh gosh, no, that would have felt horrible. But luckily we didn't have to endure that today.
Yeah, and I was going to mention too that even if you look at the 137, it feels like it didn't feel like an Agassiz. Like you could like take off the little icon that says that Aga was killed, and it would still be a good time. Either way, that 137.
Oh, definitely. You know, we were commenting during the race that it's nice to see TR as a pendant as well, right? It just eliminates a lot of risk of pedestal probably being something, and having to dip into TR. And luckily, the game kind of caught us at the end because we were talking about jumping into TR, but luckily we couldn't. So I think that saved us a little bit of time too. But then that's just the risk you take at the end. You know, you're looking for one item, and I don't know, maybe a little bit of Eastern laying on our minds, right? With those 2 big progression items and another pendant dungeon, and you know, going to Mire for, you know, what we hope would be the mirror on 2 checks. But yeah, that shovel, just, you know, it was just a one-off. Quickly do it before going to Mire and hope for the best, and if we got the best, we were just super lucky with that.
Yeah, like of all the one-off checks you could have picked, Shovel is such an odd one to pick, because at that point you had access to the entirety of the Smith chain.
Yeah, we both actually mutually agree that Smith Chain sucks without a mirror, and we were trying to avoid it.
Yeah, it sucks less if you do have the flute, but yes, it still sucks majorly without a mirror.
Yeah, I think we were just both hoping that we didn't get burned on Purple Chest having a mirror or something, because that would have been a little bit farther down the road, and after Mire, and probably TR. And Skullwoods.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Andrew is now into the Ganon fight.
Yeah, power to him. You know, keeping strong like that, it's very good for him. I think, especially in this setting.
Yeah, it's definitely one of these cases where, even if, like you had mentioned too, that this, it sucks that what happened to Andrew, but even despite that, still sticking it out to the very end, which is just, you love to see it.
Absolutely. You know, that's what this whole thing is about learning and getting better and just improving your skills. And you know, scenes like this where well, even a race where you see your opponent had finished, and it's just like, you know, keep on and stay strong, and you know, do your thing and don't let it stop in your way. You know, this isn't the end of the road already. You know, it's just the first game. Get those jitters out. I'm not sure if, you know, if Andrew's ever been on a restream, because that could contribute to, you know, some nerves or what have you, right? And you know, this is such a great environment to just kind of get started. You got your mentor, and you know, you have a restream to look at after. A lot of takeaways, I think.
Yeah, and I also would mention as well that the fact that like Yeah, where am I going with this? It's actually really nice to see the situation here, and actually, we had see the kill on Gator. Now GG's in the chats for Andrew, sticking it out to the very end, getting himself a sub 2. We'll be finishing second with an official race time at GG time, a time of 1:58:09.
Incredibly clean end game there out of Andrew.
Nice to see.
Could not ask for a much cleaner GT and Ganon fight there.
Yeah, it definitely. Yeah, still happy just to finish it out either way. And speaking of Andrew, we have him and SEJay on the race in our voice chat right now. GG.
Thank you very much. GG Aku.
GG, Andrew.
Yeah, GG's,
Yeah.
guys.
Yes, props to you for sticking it out to the very end, even after everything that happened. So just
Yeah, I figure get the GT practice, so why not?
oh,
that's
definitely,
what
yeah.
this
Just
is all about.
getting GT practice is definitely a good reason to stick it out.
Right.
Yeah, and we were just saying as you were finishing up, it was a great GT and a great Ganon, so well done, buddy.
Thank you. I mean, I thought my GT was just a little bit sloppy, but it wasn't bad. I'm not going to complain too much about it.
That's all right.
It was pretty clean, all things considered. Yes, there were mistakes here and there, but as far as I'm considered, you can't ask for too much better of a GT. That was
Right.
clean.
Yeah. That ice palace.
That's where it all went sideways for us.
Yeah, just like I was telling SEJay on our climb up GT. As far as I'm concerned, Ice Palace is where I lost it.
Oh no.
Because I ran out of magic on Cold Stare.
Oh no.
Yeah,
and-
that's why I had to save and quit out of there and go back.
Yeah,
Oh,
after that, we
sorry, buddy.
decided.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of decided because I didn't want Andrew to worry. I decided, like, okay, well, that's a pretty big time loss, so we're just gonna gamble that Mir is somewhere, not in the overworld. Like, if it's not in the overworld and it's in TR, then we can maybe gamble and get some time back. So we went and did that,
Yeah.
and it's one of those that's like, well, if it's in the overworld, we probably lost because, the Ice Palace death is not really an ideal one, and so we just kind of walked around and did everything, and then finally got to Smith Chain, and ultimately made our way to Mir.
Yeah. Anyway, we were commenting on that earlier that, after when we went to Mire, we found out we needed Quake. We went up Dark Death Mountain. We're like, well, if we find Quake up here, let's jump into TR. But we didn't have mirrors, so since being in the Dark World, we weren't going to save and quit and reclimb the mountain. So we said, hey, let's go to Mire. But on the way to Mire, let's either check, King's Tomb or Shovel, one of these one-offs. Right before we go in, and we chose Shovel, or Aku chose Shovel, I should say, and that was really to our
That was
benefit. Yeah.
Yep.
Can't say much else about that. Rando
It was
gonna
fun
Rando.
though.
It was a very nice seed. Even with being an Agaseed, I felt it was pretty friendly. A little bit of dungeon, a little bit of overworld. So,
Yeah,
nice to shake it up.
and for me
Yeah.
it was sub 2 hours, so I'm not going to complain too much, really.
Well, and
Definitely.
we had some tough breaks. Like, we made the call early on before we did South Shore. We made the call to go to Saha and Eastern. And when we got the boots out of Eastern, we decided to bail and then go do South Shore. Ultimately, to full clear everything else, just to come back to Eastern for Hammer. Like, it just seemed like any risks we took, like, they just weren't paying off today. Like, you would think Pendant Eastern, you get boots out of it, it's safe to leave.
Yeah, not
It's
today.
just unfortunate with the gambles that didn't pay off, and then when Cold Stare didn't go Andrew's way, just tried to make some gambles and hope that you can gamble your way back into the game by and in the post game chat being like, oh yeah, I got to skip all of the overworld because I just rushed TR because I was hoping it was there, but it wasn't. So
Sometimes,
though.
though, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I was telling Andrew, is that it's one of those that if you make kind of a bad play, you kind of have to accept, like, okay, well, if my opponent didn't make that play, I'm pretty far behind, so I'm gonna gamble and see if I can make a gamble and make it work and get back into the game. I told him that one of the most important things that I track is not necessarily, the time that I place next to other people, but if you take the collection rate and your time and divide them and see, like, okay, you can lose by 20 minutes, but if you lose by 20 minutes but you got 40 more items, like, well, it happens.
It does. It really, really does. And that's just Rando being Rando, right? It's not wrong until it's wrong. It's just like a route in GT, right? It's not right to do DM. It's not right to do compass left. Just do what's comfortable for you and try and make the best decisions to sway the luck in your favor as best you can. But even with that, sometimes it's just not good enough.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's right to do tile room first.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is.
Or also it's right to get 40 bonks, which I'm not saying you're wrong, but like people would disagree with you on that too.
You gotta raise that bonk counter up. You gotta get it. You gotta get the bonks.
Are you even randoing if it's not 40?
Clearly not.
Oh jeez.
Okay.
Good times.
Yeah, so just wanted to say again, thank you to both of our runners. Make sure to follow them. Thank our mentors for taking their time to work with these runners and help put on the great show that we did today. Also, thank you, Renderer and Ehseezed for commentating today, and NiobiumNarwhal for doing the tracking. Coming up, there is going to be another race Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the Go Mode Podcast Twitch channel. But go ahead and make sure to hit that follow button, turn on the notifications so you can catch all of these great races as we continue to watch these runners improve over the next 6 weeks. But that was really it, unless anyone had anything else to say in closing.
Just GG Aku, SEJay, thank you. Hosts, trackers, I know your guys' job is tough. I've done it on speed gaming before. Comms, yeah, I'm sure you guys are awesome. I didn't hear you, but I'll go back and check the VOD. But thank you guys, everyone. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you guys for providing such an entertaining ride for us today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, everyone. We will catch you all next time.
Take it easy. Take care.